Okay, Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter is another one that's a little tricky. Basically, if you have two Sharpshooter, what happens is they hit their target, and then the bolt will go to a nearby target. Now, I could try to draw you the graph, but it's really complicated. But basically, let me get my paint window open. You're going to laugh at this, but let's say you are a vein here, and you are hitting a target here. So, okay, my vein hits here, and it's time for a Sharpshooter bolt. The first thing it's going to do is look for a target in about this range. Imagine that's 1 hex, and see if there's anyone there. If there isn't, that expands to something like this. And then if there isn't, it expands to something like this. And that's kind of how it works. So basically, if you hit this person and there's somebody here and somebody here, the bolt's always going to go that way. That's kind of a really rough version of how Sharpshooter bolts pick their targets. But the general idea is it aims for behind first and then spreads out. They do have infinite range. So if they're literally like all the way across the map, you can see a Nidalee spear go like all the way this way, hit somebody, and then bounce all the way back. So it gets pretty crazy. But that's generally how it works. And then they get hit with reduced damage. And this reduced damage stacks. So let's say, for example, you are running 4... If you're running 4 Sharpshooter, and you do 100 damage. Cool. Then the first ricochet will do 50 damage, and then the second ricochet will do 25 damage. So each hit does get reduced. It's not like each ricochet is equal. And so it's the same thing with 6 Sharpshooter. So you have that same 100 damage again, and again, right now it's tuned, which will get nerfed, but it'll be 70 damage for the first bounce, 49 damage for the second bounce, and 34 damage for the third bounce. Again, this is on auto attack. So only auto attacks do this. Hurricane is not an auto attack, and I'm going to say this a lot today. Hurricane is not an auto attack, so Hurricanes do not Sharpshooter ricochet. Only auto attacks, Sharpshooter ricochet, and spells. So, and the only, like, so basically, like, Teemo's spell, for example, will blind. Nidalee spell. And Nidalee spell is interesting because what will happen is, let's say you throw a Nidalee spear and it goes the max distance, because Nidalee spear amplifies with distance. It'll hit. Then the next one will get scaled down, but it'll also be traveling and do even more damage. So Nidalee can do pretty cool stuff there. Again, Teemo will blind, because Sharpshooters apply on hits. So Sharpshooter can blind, Jinx can stun. If you're running Jinx with 6 Sharpshooter, you will stun 4 targets, plus whoever's near them for the AoE. If you're running Teemo with 6 Sharpshooter, you will blind 4 targets. Vayne, whoops, oh shit, how do I get back? F11, back, F11, great. Yeah, Vayne will also apply her ring. Everything applies. Jhin 4th shot also works. So all of this stuff works. It works great. Again, they apply on hits. Shojin isn't on hit. So, for example, if you're running Teemo and you auto-attack for 10 mana, and then it bounces 3 times, you will generate an extra 20 mana. You can get 30 mana per auto-attack with Shojin. So, good stuff there.